Right here, I want to do the second sleeve, so I also want to show us how it was done. Now, the first video, the initial video I did was a bit dark, so that was why I had to on my flash, and then so that you see clearly, right? So I want us to flow as we learn as well. So like I said, this is the first line. This is the center line of my sleeve, the center line of my sleeve. So this is the center line. Now this line was gotten by when you unfold, taking the 1 inch allowance you had here, place on the middle of the line, and then iron again. Then you now get the second line here. Now this second line is now the one we attach our placket on. So you now open it up this way again. Now on that second line, you now mark 3.5 inches deep, right? And then you slit it as well, slit, and then when you get the 3.5 inch depth, you now give it a 1/2 inch notching. Now this 1/2 inch notching will help you to properly tuck in your plackets properly, right? 1/2 inch this way. So this is how it should be, 1/2 inch in a V shape form. And then, like I said, the placket is of two sizes. They are of two sizes, the bigger one and the smaller one. As you can see, this one is bigger and this one is smaller, right? So now this bigger one is meant to stay on the bigger part of the sleeve, that this part that has the bigger aspect, while the smaller one is going to stay on the smaller area of the sleeve. So, and then the sewing processes or the sewing pattern is that you must sew from inside and then push it outside. So let's get down to cutting and joining process. So right here, having seen this is the front now, and this is the smaller one. Then you now place it inside. Bear in mind that this is for this part bar, so you now place it inside this way, inwards, and then you are going to sew. After you have sewn, you now push it outside. So let me sew and then push and show you how it's been done. I have sewn and then I have pushed it out. So this is how it will be. Don't forget to put the smaller plackets on the smaller aspects or the smaller edge of the sleeve. Then when you must have gotten to this stage, then make sure that the placket is as well straight on the line. Then here is okay for me. Then I cross it there and then cut off the excesses, right? Then after that, you sew to the end and then cut your threads very well. And then the next one is the bigger one, that's for the bigger part of the sleeve. Push it inward this way as well. Then you sew. Your sewing must be of the same size with the allowance you have left after the cuff, after the placket folding. So you have to just take your time in doing this. That's the only way it can correspond. So you sew in this direction. Then when you get to that stage of your notching, you pause, cut your threads, and then the next thing you will do now is to push it outside, making sure that the one beneath is relaxed very well as well. Then push it inward this way, and then this will be on top like this bar. Then you sew as well. Then don't forget that the measurement we used in the first one was 5.5. That's after folding 5.5. So you sew on the tip. Make sure that the angular cutting is facing down. It must face down this way. So you now relax it properly. Then when you get to this stage now, like I said, take your time to make sure that it's properly tucked in, right? Make sure it's tucked in this way, making sure that the one beneath is resting on beneath properly, and then you arrange it properly. Then when you must have finished arranging, then you cut off the allowance inside. This helps to give it an easy folding. Then you measure 5.5 inches, and then this is the point I'm going to fold from. So you fold in this form, 5.5 inches. You fold, and then try your best to make sure that your placket is demarcating the line, or the line you have done is demarcating the placket into two. So you sew in this form. So don't forget that it's advisable that you measure the extent of the first one you have sewn. This sewing was 1.2, 1.3. So you as well measure the same measurement so that everything you are doing will be in line, will be synchronized. So you fold it this way and then still measure 1.3 inch this way, 1.3, so that everything will correspond. Make sure the one under is properly relaxed, and then tuck it in properly, and then you sew. This is one of the most tasking areas in our shirt making, so you must take your time to do it properly. So right here we have our placket tucked in. So you sew to the point of 1.3. Then before you get to that stage, make sure that you have cross-checked the angular folding under. The angular folding must be tucked in as well, and then you close it accordingly, right? Then you close it accordingly, and then sew it in a straight line, just like the other one. Then this is for the placket closing. So right here, the next step we will go now is to show us how to lock the sleeves and then join the curve to the sleeve. So right here, after you must have done this stuff now, then it's advisable that you pin them together. Pin it together this way. Now this pinning will help you to have your sleeve properly locked, right? So after you must have pinned, then you fold the sleeve back into two, and then you now apply your round sleeve measurements, right? So the round sleeve we had on our cutting processes is still the same round sleeve we're going to apply. So don't forget to put your 1 inch pleat allowance. So the round sleeve we had then was 4, that's 8, into 2 is 4, then plus 1 inch for the closing, for the pleating, it becomes 5. So you mark at 5, right? Then for the elbow is 14, the elbow is 13 and a half, so 6.75, that's 6.6 3/4. Somewhere here you mark for your elbow, and then the round sleeve for the biceps is 15. Then you mark at 7.5. So these 3 lines, you are going to connect them. You are going to connect them now. So you connect them accordingly. So when you have done this now, you as well repeat the same process on the other sleeve, and then you go ahead to weave your sleeve before you start fixing your cuff. So after doing this now, it's advisable that you must weave before you proceed. That's the sense of having a weaving machine in your office or in your house, on your shop. So you must weave now, and then before you progress for a neater result and a better finishing. So I will repeat the same process I've done now on the other sleeve, and then I will show you the next thing to do. Alright guys, so I have weaved my allowance of my sleeve. So now let's now fix our sleeves to our cuff. So before I open the sleeve, bear in mind that it was pinned, and then this is how it's done. This is the sleeve, right? Then I also want to differentiate, tell us the difference having this sleeve on a cuff link and then having this sleeve on as a placket. So right here, if we are making a button hand, now for you to insert your what's it called, your cuff. Now your button hand, there's a big difference between a button hand sleeve and a cufflink sleeve. So then there's a process. You put your sleeve this way, straight up this way, and then this other one goes this way. Now this will serve you for a button hand. Now if you are making a cufflink, you are meant to bend this inward this way, and then you insert it inside your sleeve for your cufflink. So by the time you cuff, it will lap properly. But if it's going to be a shirt button, that's buttons here, don't bend this again, put it straight and then insert it beneath. So this is the major difference between a button hand shirt and a cufflink shirt. So in the case whereby you want to make use of this method to make your cufflink, that the one you use cuffs to wear, now you are now meant to bend this. But the one you are going to use button, shirt button to put on, don't bend this. That the smaller one and not the bigger one, the smaller placket, then don't bend it, put it straight up this way and then insert it properly. So when you insert it, half an inch inside, and then you take your time to arrange it as well, and then you couple, you sew. Now the same process of coupling our normal cuff, now the one you have been used to, then you make sure it's lapped properly. Make sure you open the inseam allowances and then insert it beneath this way, and then you sew accordingly. Make sure the one under is a bit bigger than the one on top, so that it can lap properly. So when you get to this stage now, you have achieved a lot in your shirt making. Now the next step I will show you is to join the shoulders, is to join the sleeve to the shoulder, and then as well tell you the different ways you can as well join this, right? I believe this video will be good enough for all of us in the group to master or to learn how to cut a simple shirt. Now from this video you can now bring your own creativity, your own initiative and your own concept. So now when you sew and get to more than half of the sleeve, then pause there, put the other one inside this way, make sure it's top lap properly, and then from the second line of the iron part, now do your pleating. That's the pleating you have added already. Then you do your pleating, make sure that the edges are properly relaxed, cut off your threads to give you a nice result. And then by the time you get to this stage now, you can now boastfully say that you have finished your sleeve cufflink and your button hand shirt. So make sure here is being pushed in properly, and then you sew. So make sure the one under as well is relaxed. Don't be in a haste to round it up. Take your time to do that, because most times the material can be troublesome. So you just have to take your time to relax it very well. At the end of the day, you achieve a nice result. So I'm taking my time to do this as well. So you must as well take your time to do this. So when you have gotten the pleat you want, then you can now sew. Bear in mind that it's one pleat. So let me pleat and show you. So right here we have achieved our pleating properly the way we want. Then you make sure the sewing must be of this form, right? Your sewing must be in this form. Make sure that this is flushing very well. Likewise here, it's flushing very well. So the next thing you do now is to top stitch the cufflink tip. Then top stitch it very well. Now this top stitch will help you have a more relaxed feeling and nature here. So top stitch the edges right round, tip to tip. But if you so don't wish to do it, no problem. But then it's recommended that you do it. Then after the top stitching, you now give it your second decorative stitch, which is of great essence as well for a neater effect actually. Then so quarter inch or thereabouts. Alright guys, so right here, as you can see, we have finished fixing our cuff, our sleeve button hand. Now bear in mind that this one will be on top this way, and then this is how it should be relaxed, right? Now you make a buttonhole, one button here and then one here. So I think I will as well show us how to do buttonholes so that you have a complete knowledge on how to make a shirt. So having known this now, I will now take my time to do the next sleeve, and then we proceed to the next stage of the coupling processes.